It looks like what we saw this year with all these woke companies collapsing or big tech companies canning their woke divisions, or at least disguising them in HR. This is just the beginning. U.S. state lawmakers and companies prepare to push back against DEI woke initiatives. Good. So part of that is you're going to have to protect these institutions from lawsuits, because the other side, when they don't get their way, they start filing lawsuits. So the only way to fight back is either you get the government to provide legal protections to these companies to make them unsuable for canceling DEI initiatives, and or the other side has to sue twice as hard. So either way, let's fucking go. Some state lawmakers and companies in the U.S. will be preparing to roll back major DEI policies present in nearly every major industry, according to experts and a Republican attorney general. Yeah, about damn time. I guess you're finally sick of losing money, right? Finally starting to realize that you can't get more investors to dump money into you if you keep losing it. The DEI topic was back in the news last week due to an intense exchange between lawmakers during a markup of the dismantled DEI bill in the House. Regressive firebrand Representative Jasmine Crockett lambasted a Republican congressman who referred to DEI policies as oppression. It literally is racist and it is oppression. If you can't see that, you're a bigot. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country, Crockett said. Yeah, says the woman that's still trying to grievance monger about something that happened 200 years ago. Yeah, my real question is, like, when is enough enough? Like, where do we draw the line? How far back into the past are you allowed to reach for grievances? I say we need to put the limit on when you were born. Yeah, people should not be allowed to reach for grievances to shit that happened before they were even born. Now, you tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told you're going to work and we're going to steal your wives. We're going to stroke some of your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. Okay. Which one of you black people has had to go through that in the past, 100 years? The incoming Orange Man administration will likely target many DEI initiatives, as it should. In current year -4, that then President Orange Man, soon to be now current President Orange Man, issued an executive order to ban divisive training for federal contractors, and the House Oversight Committee held a hearing this week about dismantling DEI policies. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry that pushes a left-wing, far-left ideological orthodoxy in essentially every area of American life. Yeah, one that doesn't lead to anything improving either. DEI makes everything worse. It makes race relations worse. It makes gender relations worse. It makes profitability worse. It's literal fucking cancer. Which is why I've begun calling it the DEI enterprise instead of just DEI, so that people have a sense of what I'm talking about. Devin Westo, a constitutional and civil rights attorney, told Fox News Digital in an interview. Yeah, DEI enterprise. Yeah, that movie Matt Walsh did, where he really just busted Robin DiAngelo. Yeah, this grievance mongering dog shit is a multi-billion-dollar industry for some grifters. That's why they're fighting so hard to keep it. Westhill, who researches DEI policies at the Center for Equal Opportunity, a Washington, D.C.-based conservative think tank, says DEI isn't interested in diversity of thought, true diversity, but rather interested in racial quotas. Yeah, that's why it's called Didn't Earn It, because that's exactly what it is. It's giving free gibs to those who didn't earn it. So over the last 4 years, the Brandon Harris administration has encouraged DEI initiatives across several sectors of the federal government. And has it been getting better or worse? In current year -3, Brandon widened an executive order directing agencies to assess and remove barriers to equal opportunity through DEI policies. Another executive order signed that year was a government-wide initiative to embed DEI principles in federal hiring. Is it any wonder why our federal government is so incompetent? They're hiring based off of diversity quotas. All right, you'll be fine. Yeah, the Department of Indoctrination has also released reports encouraging DEI on public university campuses. The brand new administration also invested in DEI programs within the U.S. military. Yeah, the same military that's pretty much begging white men to come back now. Funny. Oh, but I thought you didn't need us. I thought we were toxic. I thought we made everything worse and we're the source of all the problems in the world and you're better off without us. Yeah, don't come crying to us when you need some sacrificial cannon fodder to save the rich people in the country. Ah, hell no. Well, why don't you send the diversity corps? And large corporations like the U.S. have also adopted DI workplace policies, including Accenture, Johnson & Johnson, MasterCard. Yeah, we know. Marriott International, Kaiser Permanente, Ernst & Young, Target, Google, Bank of America, and American Express. A lot of these companies aren't doing too well. Some of them are still okay because they're still riding on their predecessors' successes, but others are on the verge of collapse. You had it coming from the federal government, where if you wouldn't go along with under the Brand administration with the DI regime, they were threatening to sue you. Yeah, that's what I said earlier, isn't it? Whenever these guys don't get their way, they wage lawfare, which is why it's so hilarious that now that our side is reciprocating with lawfare of our own, now they're running for the hills. They're running for cover. Should have been doing this years ago. I will claim you're violating the civil rights of minorities. So it's more of a combination of a threat of bad press or government action against these corporations. Yeah. And that's why Aaron Clary has been saying for a while now that soon it's going to be impossible to run a business in America because of these threats and lawsuits and bad press and everything. Yeah, this is why companies are leaving the U.S. and hiring foreigners. Hild said that he expected to see over the next year many red states' attorneys general start suing these corporations for hiring based on racial quotas. Yeah, if lawfare is the way that this is going to go, then so be it. We didn't want to do it, but if this is the battlefield we're forced to fight on, we got to adapt. And consumers have also suffered as a result of DI policies, he said, urging that it shifted companies' focus away from the quality of goods. Are you saying those 737 MAX casualties were the result of DEI policies? Probably. The integration of ESG and DEI benchmarks has also influenced investment decisions and pension fund strategies. Yeah, and that you want to know why your pension fund has no money in it anymore? This is why. It's because they dumped it in fucking DEI and ESG. Pension funds have been increasingly incorporating ESG and DEI considerations into their investment processes over the last 4 years. So now you know who to sue when your pension fund disappears. Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird has said that this will be one area of focus her office will examine. Thank you. We want to make sure we are protecting people's pensions because no one's retirement and life savings should be gambled for these woke ESG and DEI goals. And so that means that our work with that issue will continue, whether it's the investment managers or the proxy advisors, making sure that these pensions are being invested. Oh yeah. Cut it out with this separate legal entity crap. The activists that are in there making these decisions need to be personally held liable for any losses. If these activists were personally held accountable, this would be fixed overnight. So it's there for people when they need it, not for any kind of social engineering or other types of woke political goals. It's a good start. But there's a lot of work left to do. But definitely reciprocating with the lawfare is how we need to do this. Because this is the only thing these companies respond to. You can complain to them all day, they will just ignore you. But as soon as they get an intent to sue from your lawyer, now suddenly they're willing to talk. This is what it's going to take to get things back on track. So if you see any cucks out there reeing just as bad as them, at this point, it's obvious they're enemy infiltrators.